Welcome. Today I'm going to be honing a very special razor. This is an Iwasaki Western style 13/16 full hollow. Let's see here if you can see that. Full hollow. There we go. Full hollow. Again, Western style razor. What makes this one special is that the steel is Tamahagane. Kosuke Iwasaki is well known for making Kamasori razors. Obviously, he's Japanese, and before I get any further, I'm an American, which means I'm going to mispronounce all of the Japanese terms that I'm going to use in this video, so I'll just put my apologies in up front. Anyway, back to the razor. This razor is made with Tamahagane steel, which is the steel used for samurai swords. The steel has a very interesting history, and what I'm going to do rather than go into it in this video is to provide a link in the description so that you can go and check it out for yourself. There's a really good YouTube video about Tamahagane steel. I couldn't find that one, but I found one that can get you started, has enough information to get you started. Iwasaki was a metallurgist. He died in, I think it's 67, and this razor was made in the early 60s. He is closely associated with Tamahagane steel, and it's actually an actual privilege to have this razor that was made by him. This razor was made in the early 60s, so made before he died, but supposedly made during the peak of his career. I will have also in the description let's see if I can come up with a way for you to see this. There we go. I'm going to have in the description information about the stamps on this side of the razor and on this side of the razor. You should actually look at them. Let's see if I can get that to focus. Come on. There we go. Yeah, sort of. Anyway, I'll have information about the stamps in the description. This is a new razor to me. I've had it for a long time, but I've been mostly admiring it, and I've decided that it's time to take it for a spin, so it needs an edge. I will put a microscope photograph of the edge as it exists. It actually has a sort of sharp edge, but it would probably shave poorly. But we're going to put a complete Japanese style edge on this razor. I'm going to be using a Nakayama Maruka Shohoyama stone, which is a finishing stone, a very hard finishing stone that has quite a pedigree. This particular stone is quite expensive. The Maruka Shohoyama designation is for the finest of these Nakayama stones. I perceive that to be finest in terms of abrasive fineness, so that it would, my interpretation is that it will put it is capable of putting most refinement of a natural stone. Anyway, I'll be using this stone, and then I'll be doing this will stay here for the whole process. But what I'll be doing is a progression of different nagura stones. So I'll start out with this. This is a Botan. It's a coarse stone. It will produce a coarse slurry on the Nakayama. I'll follow that with a shoe nagura, which is this stone. Oh, and by the way, this is primarily a stone used for sword sharpening. So I was able to get this, and I've used it before for razor sharpening, and it's actually quite nice for razor sharpening. Wonderful feel. And then finally, I'll be using a Coma nagura, and that'll be the last of these that I use. That'll be followed by a DMT, diamond. I'll use a diamond plate to raise a Tomo nagura on the stone itself, and then we'll do some final finish work without any slurry. So that's going to be the basic process, and I'm sure there's something I forgot here, but I'll try to remember it as we get going. I'm going to pause, and then I'll show you a picture of the edge prior to starting this process, and then I'll come right back. Okay, I'm back. I did forget to mention that all stropping will be done with a Kaneyama strop. This is cordovan leather and a I can't remember, but effectively a linen material cloth. And so I'll be doing all stropping with this, and so the entire process will be sort of a Japanese process. Everything I have here I actually bought from the same place. The razor, the stone, not all of the naguras, but two of them were purchased from the Shave Authority on Etsy. Greg there is a friend and has been terrific about finding things that are of interest to me, but also informing me about these items, because I don't know a lot about them. I have an appreciation for Japanese steel from my knife sharpening experience, but not so much in the razor experience. And he's just been terrific. So as it turns out, everything I'm going to use, or almost everything I'm going to use in this sharpening process, I purchased from him. Okay, I'm going to put the strop down and then we'll get started. So the first stage here is to effectively set a bevel. I will have shown you you just saw the edge as it exists, and it actually looks really nice. It's very nice and clean. And I'm going to show you images from the center of the razor as we go along, but my own procedure is to, every time I take the razor to the microscope, is to scan the entire edge on both sides. But I mean, I'm going to spare you that and only show you one area of the razor each time. And I'm going to try to show you, unless I forget, I'm going to try to show you what the edge looks like at each stage in this progression. So I'm raising a slurry here. This is the Botan. So this is going to be hopefully the most aggressive slurry, and will hopefully get us to a quick bevel set. I'm gonna call that done for the moment. Looks pretty good to me. All right, so here we go. As usual, I'm gonna do the same stuff you've seen me do in other videos. This is a new razor. I've never used it. So I have checked it for flatness. I've laid it on a flat countertop to make sure that there's contact, nice flat contact on the spine, and that the edge makes contact with that flat surface everywhere. So I don't have any known obvious geometry problems with this razor going in. This steel, this Tamahagane steel, is supposed to be quite hard. In fact, I've only used Tamahagane steel or sharpened it once before, and that was on a knife. And that knife was not entirely Tamahagane steel. That knife was made using a sanmai process, which is basically a sandwich of steels. It's a very traditional way of making edged implements cheaply, where you use the most prized steel material for the center of the knife or the razor, and then you the rest of it is with a cheaper steel. Very common manufacturing process. So that knife was sanmai. This razor is entirely Tamahagane, and my understanding, and it feels like this, is that Iwasaki hardened this to something like 64, 65 Rockwell, which is very hard, and I can kind of feel that it's hard. That's something that you don't get right away when you start sharpening, but over time you start to develop a feeling for how different steels react on the stone. So this feels hard. I'm not seeing much swarf develop yet, and so I don't know how well this is cutting, how well the Botan is cutting. It does appear to be getting a little grayer, but it seems to be very slow. So I may start doing some X strokes here. I mean, the way in which I'm going to water this down just a little bit. The way in which this is moving across the edge is very encouraging. But we're going to need to do a sharpness test and see if it's encouraging enough. This could be because of the hardness of the material, this could be a very long video. The harder steels take longer to shape with abrasion, especially with these natural stones, which tend to be much slower in their abrasive capability than synthetic stones. And as we move along, I'll start talking to you a little bit about Japanese natural stones and kind of why they have, I mean, if you've heard anything about razor honing and Japanese stones have come up, you will probably be of the opinion that these are the kind of the epitome of edge preparation. I have a different view. I'm not suggesting that they're bad, but they're different. They're different from a synthetic stone. They're different from a conical, and so that difference is certainly something of great interest, and to me too. But it makes it unique. It gives it its own quality. I'll talk about that more in a bit. I want to see how we're doing here. I feel as if this right here, I'm not getting a lot of abrasion there. I mean, it is moving material. So I think we'll do some sharpness testing here, and see what we get. in a perfect world, what I want here is for the whole geometry, you know, the bevel set as well as the basic apex geometry to be set at this coarse level, and then everything else we do is refinement. All right, here we go. We have a brand new, fresh polystyrene packing peanut, which, as you know, is my go-to method for testing. Well, look at that. Look at that. Very good. Well, this is exactly where I would want this to be. That's a little, that area maybe could use some work, and that area definitely could use some work. So I think we'll work up here on the toe a little bit, and I think we'll do it on this Botan slurry. See if we can improve this right at the toe. Now it could very well be, it's hard for me to judge thickness when I look at the side of a razor under a microscope. So it could very well be that the edge broadens as I get to the toe here. The quality of the edge looks the same looked the same everywhere as the image that you saw. But I really don't have a good measure other than what you saw of determining edge thickness or apex thickness. So I'll also talk a little bit about pressure. I'm using the same amount of pressure that I typically use, and I figured out a way to talk about that differently this time around, because normally what I say is that I'm using light pressure, but I'm not sure that really helps you understand anything, because I might be a gorilla for all you know in terms of pressure. Okay, these strokes, as I've said before, help to smooth out and normalize the edge. So that work that I did at the toe, I'm now blending into the rest of the edge. Okay, I'm definitely taking a lot of time here because I can feel that the abrasive is really working slowly. All right, let's see where we are. Now with this video, I'm going to make this and the other 3 videos that I've done, I'm gonna make them publicly available on YouTube. Not that I really want to start a sharpening channel, but I've been very fortunate. I've had terrific feedback from I normally post these on Reddit as private links, but I've had tremendous feedback from that. And people have asked me to make them public so they're easier to find. All right, so that's definitely better. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see a little bit more, but it's definitely getting better. And this will be where we put, you know, this will be where I put in most of the work. Is on this, not so much on this stone, but using this slurry. That'll be where I put in most of the work. So pressure, and this is going to apply to everything. How How much pressure am I using? Well, I try to use the same pressure regardless of the stone and regardless of the slurry. And so how much is that? Well, that's, when I say light pressure, that's really a misnomer. That's enough pressure to hold the apex against the stone so that it makes contact with the stone, but not enough pressure to turn that apex into the stone. And I find that it's better to err on the side of lightness, because you can always do more strokes. But once you've turned that edge in, and even you know, with the spine against the stone, too much pressure, too much torque in that direction can sort of grind the apex into the stone surface, because again, the stone surface isn't perfectly smooth. There's little bits of silicate, in this case, sticking up, and I don't want to drive the actual apex into that silicate. So anyway, pressure, I am trying to use only as much pressure as is necessary to securely, not firmly, but securely keep that bevel against the stone. And then I'm letting the stone's abrasive work on that bevel on each side to grind in that apex. So I don't know. I hope that's helpful. I'm sure somebody will let me know if it is. I am seeing a darkening, so that's a good thing. Let's test again. As anybody who's seen previous videos knows, I have no plan. I press record and then start to ramble. Because I'm talking, it takes me longer to sharpen a razor than it would if I was fully concentrating on the sharpening. But you know, that's the way it is. I'm still not wild about this. I think I'm going to, yeah, that is not sharp. So I'm gonna see what the rest of the edge looks like. If it looks as if I'm really getting there. I mean, the rest of the edge is testing well. So if it looks like I'm getting there, I'll continue with this, and then I'm going to pause you, because I mean, there's only so much of this you can watch. I'm going to pause you, see what's necessary on the toe there to do. It might just be a little bit more work on the stone, and then I'll come back. Okay, I'm back. I have been, I went and took some microscope images, and what I saw was that on this corner, here we go, let's see here. On this corner, the scratch pattern wasn't quite getting all the way to the apex. And so what I did is I came back and I made some more slurry, and I have been working on this with putting a little extra pressure on the toe as I work this. A little extra pressure means a little extra abrasion, and so that's kind of what I want here. I need to work the whole edge, but I need to get more abrasion right at the toe than the rest of the edge. So I'm feeling, I guess I've been at this about, I don't know, five minutes, maybe a little bit more, since coming back from the microscope, and I can feel that the slurry is flowing over the edge a little better. So I'm just about to test this, so that's why I brought you back. Probably if I were not trying to stick to a complete Japanese sharpening process here, I probably, if this razor were not so special, I probably would have not spent so much time honoring the steel, and I would have gone to a synthetic stone like a 4K, which is much more aggressive, especially with a steel of this hardness, and it would have taken a lot less time. But I saved you, I saved you watching the back and forth a little bit. All right, so let's bring out the old polystyrene and do a test here. All right, so let's start with the toe. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, so we're there with the toe. Yeah, that's where we want to be. And the rest of this, I'm sample testing. The rest of this is good. So we are actually now where we want to be with the edge. I mean, this is certainly shaving sharp already, but it's not, you can tell it looks smooth in the pictures, in the photos, but it's going to get a lot smoother. We've now done the majority of the work, and the rest of this is refinement. So let's clean off the stone. And we will also, this is going to be the Chu Nagura, and we're going to raise that slurry and refine the edge some. And with some luck, this won't take as long. This is a terrific nagura because it has a wonderful feedback to it, and it starts out kind of coarse, but feels as if it breaks down pretty quickly. So you when you first start out with it, you feel like you get good work, quick work at converting from the coarser scratch pattern to a finer scratch pattern, and then it evens out and allows you to achieve that finer scratch pattern with more accuracy. So this is taking a while to raise this slurry, but we need it. We need a pretty good, because of the hardness of the steel, we need a pretty good slurry here. So it's coming. So Japanese natural stones, well, there's several ways of using them. I have as I mentioned, I have a whole shelf of Japanese natural stones over here. And part of that collection is, a coarse stone, a medium stone, and a fine stone. That's for knives. I found that I don't like, so you can use them just like you would synthetic stones, where you use a different stone for different levels of abrasion. But I found I didn't like that. The method I like best is this method, where you have a very, very hard stone that's also very fine, and then you raise different levels of slurry on it to achieve your coarse, medium, and fine abrasive levels. A synthetic stone works a little like sandpaper, where the abrasive particles are fixed in the material, in the binder, and they kind of stick up like they do on sandpaper. And as you go over them, they abrade the steel, and that motion also tears the abrasive away from the binder and presents new, fresh abrasive. And as such, you don't really need a slurry with synthetic stones. Adding a slurry simply adds a third abrasive element, or third element to the abrasive system, and you know, that does add some benefit, but you don't need it. In the case of a Japanese natural stone, you really do. And that's because the silicate, which is the abrasive in these stones, doesn't really. First of all, it's very fine in the hard stone. That's the support for this. The abrasive is very fine, and unlike with sandpaper, it doesn't really present a pointy surface on which to run the steel across. So the motion of the abrasive particles in the slurry are much more effective on this type of surface. All right, so here we go. We're now with the Chu Nagura, doing the same thing I always do. You see me do. I'm very concerned. I do check. When I go to the microscope, I do check heel center. I check the whole edge on both sides, but I want to make sure that I'm getting even work on all the way from the heel to the toe, and partly that's because I shave with the whole razor, so I want the whole razor to be sharp. But also, if you're missing, you see a lot of sharpeners on YouTube with the heel off the stone a lot of the time, especially if the ones who do tons and tons of X strokes, you know, that heel is now gone, whereas the toe is still there. And the problem with that, with a razor that gets sharpened over time, if you can maintain that pattern over time, then the toe gets much more abrasive time than the heel, and that the same occurs on the spine. So I'm of the opinion that a lot of the geometry problems that you see with older razors really come from inattention to having even development on the entire edge. So I don't know that I have a lot of razors, and so I don't know that there will be one razor that I'll sharpen enough to prove that theory, but who knows, we'll see. All right, so that sure does feel good. That sure does feel good. This is where the magic of this Chu Nagura really comes in. It's the slurry is actually thickening up a little bit, but its feel has changed. Its feel is softer, more velvety, and I think, I mean, I don't know, because again, this is very hard steel. So I'm going to test it, but then unfortunately I'm going to have to go look at it. So I'm going to end up testing, pausing you, making some microscope photos, and then coming back, assuming that the testing looks good. Okay, here we go. All right, so that feels good. Very good. That's probably in an old spot. That's good. Very good. Very good. Let's see how our toe's doing. Toe's doing okay, but not super-de-duper. Really, if this continues, I'm probably going to go back to a synthetic and really knock this out. It's kind of annoying me now. Okay, let me go look at this under the microscope. I'm going to pause you and I will be back. All right, I'm back. Let's see. So I went and looked at this again under the microscope with the Shu nagura finish, and I really didn't see an improvement at this point in the this point on the toe on this side. This side looked good, this side did not. And so I went back to the Botan and worked on that, and I've just come back to, and I've been working here with the Shu nagura again. When I tested, so I came off of the Botan and did test, and it did test better. So I feel like I've probably gotten through that area. Again, this steel is pretty hard, and it probably, in terms of efficiency, it would have been better to just spend a couple of minutes on a 2K synthetic stone just to get everything set, and then go to a 4K synthetic to really put in the shape and then transfer over here. But you know, I've chosen to do this the hard way. So this feels good, really feels nice and smooth on the stone. I can feel that the whole edge is making contact. And you can also see that by the way the slurry moves. So I'm going to stop here and do a little testing. And if this tests well, then what I'll do is go and make some images so you can see what compare what the Shu nagura looks like compared to the Botan. Okay, gotta get one of these handy. Well, that's still requiring a little bit of effort, but it's getting there. Yeah, it's better. It's better. It's not. I would say the whole edge isn't perfect, but I'm not. It feels pretty good. Yeah, this is a knife thing. We feel our edges. We do this kind of thing to see what the edge feels like. It does not harm the edge of a straight razor to feel it like this. I've got lots of experience, and I can tell quite a bit about sharpness when I do this. So yeah, it's certainly shaving sharp. This would shave really well. And I should point out that the, you know, you saw in this area, you saw what the slight anomaly was, and that's at 940x. You wouldn't see that with a normal, we certainly wouldn't see it with a loop, and you wouldn't see it with a normal telescope. And my testing, I'm pretty finicky about my testing. So right now, as it stands, I'm sure this would shave well. I'm not sure it shaves, you know, it's the kind of edge that I want yet. So let me make some images. I'm pausing you again. I'll come back after the images, and we will move on to the Coma nagura. Okay, I'm back again. The microscope images looked really good. So I took a photo of one of the scratch pattern at the center of one side and at the toe of the problem area. I'm now wetting down the Coma nagura stone, and I am going to continue by putting a Coma slurry on this Nakayama So you might wonder, what's the big deal with J-nats? And I started down this path a little earlier, ages ago in this sharpening. But the thing about a natural stone is it's each one is unique, right? So this stone here is dug out of sedimentary rock in Japan, probably somewhere. I mean, it was sold in the 60s probably, but who knows when it was dug out. It was sold from inventory. When it was dug out, all that has to do with is the quality of the vein that they were digging stones out of at the time, and that might have been good or bad. It doesn't mean that stones that they dug out later were worse. And that's the thing about natural stones. It's a crapshoot. Each stone is going to have its own unique character, and that's actually what draws a lot of people to these stones. Is that you get to know them. You develop a relationship with the stone as you learn. As you use it, you sort of develop a feeling for its character. And in theory, as you develop that feeling, you learn to get more out of it. I have only used this stone, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10, well, maybe more than that, but let's just say 10 times. And that's not enough time to really develop an understanding for the character of the stone. Also, that character changes over time because again, there's no engineering. Mother Earth engineered this stone. It's made up of silicate, but all the particles are different. All the particle sizes are different. They're small, but they're different. And in fact, it's that variation in size that gives the scratch pattern its sandblasted look that you see in the photos. So partly what's great about these and what people like is there's an odor, and there's a nice earthy odor from this, and there's a connection to the earth that you and to something natural that you don't get with a synthetic stone, and it's that it's that aspect that gives it its personality. So I mean, that's the big attractiveness. Now, does it create, we started down this earlier, does it create like the best edge? Do J-knots give you the best edge? Well, they give you a unique edge, right? What you see in that scratch pattern is what carries down to the apex. And amazingly, you can feel that. So if it's the best edge, then it's that you like the feel of that edge. And I happen to like the feel of the J-knat edge, but I also like the feel of my synthetic edge, and they're different. The J-knat edge is extremely sharp, but also soft, to the point where you don't really know exactly where the apex is. It's so soft that it's like under a cushion. It shaves incredibly well, and that's a feeling that most people enjoy very much. I do like that feeling, but the synthetic edge is silky smooth, not soft, but silky smooth, and I can feel where that apex is. And in terms of feedback for pressure and angle, sometimes I like that better. Certainly I have an excess of riches with these edges. I get to choose which one I want to use each day, and I enjoy them all. But to me, it's as I mentioned earlier, it's a little like picking an ice cream flavor. You don't necessarily have to have only one that you enjoy. So anyway, that's my diatribe on J-nats. If you have questions, of course, ask. they are expensive. Getting a good quality one is expensive. And when I say good quality, really what you're paying for, as I did here, is some form of pedigree. You're paying for a good story about the stone. At the end of it all, what you know, it's using the stone, understanding its personality, and trying to get the most out of it, and hopefully getting a stone which allows you to get, you know, with whatever technique you have, get really good edges from it. All right, let's I want to put a little bit of water here. I want to water this down, and I want to do some quick X strokes with a thinner slurry. Hopefully you can tell I'm really just gliding that apex along the surface of the stone. It's just as smooth and cushiony and soft and velvety as it can be. It really feels good. But you know, this is a whole new steel to me, and that's why I'm spending quite a bit of extra time on the stone, because I know the steel will wear slowly, and that's also why I'm spending a lot of time on the microscope. And I can't believe anybody has watched this so long. But anyway, let's go do some testing. Once again, my process is as simple as you can imagine. Hone a little, test a little. Oh, there we go. That's where we want it to be. That's good. All right, so that's feeling pretty good. I'm not gonna, I think I'm gonna, what the heck, I'll take some, that was a Coma. I'll take some microscope images just to be consistent here. So I'll pause you and be back. Okay, I'm back, and I've made some microscope images, and we're ready to move on to the diamond slurry. And before I do that, believe it or not, these very hard Japanese stones do dish, because you're running abrasive over the surface, and the surface isn't as hard as you might think. So I'm going to do a quick flattening. This is I'm using my super duper diamond plate for this, and I'm not using a ton of pressure, and the idea is that when the pencil marks are gone, you have exposed a new flat surface, a refreshed flat surface. And as you can see, there's some areas where it's going away and some areas where it's not. So I flattened it before I started, so it has changed shape a little bit. And since we're going into the final phase here, you know, we want it to be as perfect as it can be. All right, I'm seeing those marks gone now. So let me wash that off. I think I have to run out and get my my little DMT stone, DMT diamond stone. Okay, I'm back. So this is a little diamond stone. DMT Diamond Machining Technology sells this. This one's extra fine, and it's what I use to raise a slurry on a Japanese stone. I use this on other stones too, but I use this to raise a Tomo nagura, which is a nagura, or which is a slurry that is of the same fineness and consistency as the base stone. And so the way I do that is with this little diamond plate. And so our process from here you've actually seen before. We'll do refinement with this slurry, and then I'll do a test, of course, because there's nothing more exciting than testing with polystyrene. And then we'll do a quick stropping on the canvas side of the Yakayama Kaneyama. What was I thinking? The Kaneyama strop, and then we'll come back and finish with soapy water, and that should do it. All right, here we go. The edges, as you saw, the testing before was really good. This feels exceptional. This is where you get this whole natural stone thing that I was talking about earlier. There's a velvety, silky feel to the stone surface and to the slurry that you just don't get with any other type of stone. And this is addictive. There's definitely a Zen aspect to this, unless you're making a video and rambling on like an idiot. But it really does feel good. Super, super smooth. Love this feel. All right, I'm thinking we're in need of a little refreshment. Actually, I'm in need of a refreshment. I'm getting thirsty. This is like the honing session from hell. It feels like it's been going on forever. I can do a knife in about 20 minutes. I think it's been hours. It feels as if it's been hours. It's probably been close to that. When running back and forth and doing the microscope inspections. And also doing all of these extra laps because of the hardness of the steel and the low cutting ability of these stones. Boy, that's just super, super nice. All right, you can do this forever. And as I've mentioned before, with light pressure like that, you can feel pretty safe in overdoing it. And the only downside to overdoing it is sooner or later you get bored. All right, let's do a quick test here. Let's start here. Wow. Wow, super nice. Super nice. Yeah, that's where we want it to be. Oh, wow. Let's try that on another side. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna predict already that this is gonna shave absolutely terrifically. What's really nice about the polystyrene is this skin, the skin that it has. It will change. It feels as if it changes depending upon how sharp the apex is, and if with a super sharp apex, that skin can almost be broken with no pressure at all. I mean, I still have a stage to go, but and we haven't done any stropping, but that is you know, that's already feeling exceptional. And I'm testing the whole edge, so I have pretty good confidence that this is going to shave well. Now let's spin the stone so that we get somewhat even wear. Okay, so now let's see here. Now I think I'm gonna pause. I'm just because I'm doing the Iwasaki thing. So I'm gonna do the soapy water. I'm almost out of this this is antibacterial soap. Almost out of it. There we go. Gonna need to add water to this situation. There we go. Okay, there we go. Finally getting down to it here. Okay, super. Now I am, same thing with the pressure. I am having just enough pressure to keep the bevel on the stone, and no more. So I don't want the bevel to bounce on this surface. I want it to have nice smooth contact all over, but I'm also modulating that pressure so that it is across this whole area, but it's very light. And I haven't mentioned this so far, but on these strokes I'm doing edge leading and edge trailing. I am using pressure on both sides of that stroke on the bevel. Wow, that needs more water. Wow, that's amazing. That really feels incredible. Wow. All right, the next stage, we're almost done here. The next stage is, I guess what I'll do is, after this, we'll test, and then I'm going to make microscope images, and then I'm going to do this Iwasaki finish sharpening, and then I'll do some more images just so you can see. This is very subtle. The Iwasaki finish sharpening is very subtle. And then after that, I'm going to strop, and of course I'll do more testing after stropping, because when in doubt, do more testing. The The disadvantage of testing is it's incredibly boring for the person who watches these videos, but you know, sorry about that. But it is part of my process, and it gives me tremendous consistency, especially when I'm doing different edges, right? So this is a JNAT edge, and if I can get a JNAT edge to the same degree of acuity as a Black Arkansas edge or Coticule edge or a synthetic edge, then when I shave with those edges, what I'm experiencing is the difference of the texture of the apex. I can really experience the difference that the stone makes. So that's what I'm attempting to accomplish here. Wow, that feels amazing. Okay. I think I spend half of my time when I'm sharpening cleaning up. I bet this is an hour-and-a-half video. I can't imagine anybody's going to watch it. I'm not sure I would. I'm not sure I'll be able to. And I should probably do it while I'm editing. Okay. Okay, so that's dried off. Do a quick, yeah. Oh, okay, that's looking good. What's the next step? Next step is Iwasaki. Oh no, next step is some microscope images. I'll be back. Okay, we're down to the end of it. I've got some microscope photos that I will include in the insert into the video, and we're getting down to the last two steps here. I'm going to do 10 minutes of the Iwasaki finishing stage, but I'm only going to show you a little bit of that because it's unbelievably tedious to watch. But again, this was Greg at the Shave Authority was kind enough to give me Iwasaki's book on razor care and sharpening. And as the finished stage in that book, he talks about making tiny little strokes like this. Just tiny little strokes, very light pressure. Now, what I think that you notice that I'm addressing the stone with the razor quite differently than I would normally do it. And I think that this address position is probably closer to what Iwasaki used to sharpen razors. And so his strokes would have pushed steel onto the edge, and these finishing strokes would be doing what I call cleaning the edge by scrubbing off tiny bits of material and creating a uniform surface right at the apex prior to stropping. Now, with me addressing the stone like this and sharpening like this, I have both, and I'm also sharpening in both directions. I have a cleaning element, this kind of an element to every stroke. So I'm not certain how effective, or I'm not certain that this procedure for me is as effective as it might be for Iwasaki. Nonetheless, I want to honor him and his method, and certainly this razor. And I've done this before, and I know that it certainly doesn't hurt. So this is like watching grass grow, paint dry. You know, pick a analogy. I'm going to pause you, and I will come back when 10 minutes is gone and I can't take it anymore. Okay, I'm back. I took images of after the Iwasaki finishing strokes. I took microscope images of those, and then I went and stropped 30 laps on the Kaneyama canvas, followed by 60 laps on the Kaneyama Cordovan leather, which, by the way, is insanely good. And so now we are ready for final testing, so I can go get a drink and let you go. All right, so here we go, final testing. Wow, it's like pushing into a cloud. Oh, Jesus. Wow. I'm just that's got to be going into something old. No, it's not. Jesus. Wow. Here's the problem child corner. Wow. Well, I'm gonna call that a success. I'm gonna declare victory on this. I think it's gonna shave amazingly. I'll post the link to this video when I post the shave of the day for the test shave on this razor. Thank you for those who have watched this video and have watched my others, and for those who recommended that I make them public to make them easier to find. I've had great feedback, and I have some ideas for some upcoming ones based on requests. And so we'll see you in the next one. Have a good night. Bye.